So, what are the leading hacks to find a job in 2025? That question alone could make half the internet sigh in solidarity. This year has been a roller coaster for job seekers. And not the fun kind. We're talking loops, drops, and no seatbelt. But out of the chaos comes a chance to explore what actually works and what people wish worked. So today, we're diving into the real, raw, and occasionally sarcastic strategies people are using to survive the 2025 job market. And with all that tension hanging in the air, let's zoom in on one person's search for hope. A simple question asked in an online forum, but one that clearly struck a nerve.
The main question was straightforward. What strategies actually help someone land more interviews or real human responses in 2025? The person asking felt exhausted, frustrated, and convinced that every old strategy had stopped working, so they wanted to hear what others were doing right. With that mix of frustration and hope laid out, the responses started rolling in. Some serious, some funny, and some surprisingly insightful. Let's break down the best of them.
Just a quick welcome to Better Life FAQs. If you want more simple, practical answers like this, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Now let's continue.
First up, someone who went straight for the jugular with a one-liner. Their take? The secret to job hunting is having your dad as the CEO. Blunt, sarcastic, and painfully true for some. This answer is funny, but it hits a nerve. It speaks to how powerless job seekers can feel when their efforts seem meaningless compared to the power of connections. The joke hides a real frustration about nepotism, favoritism, and the uneven playing field that exists for so many workers. This comment resonates because it's something people often think but rarely say out loud. When applications disappear into the void, having a family connection almost feels like a cheat code. But the joke also reminds us that not everyone has access to that kind of advantage, which can make the process feel even more isolating. Imagine two applicants with identical resumes. One gets an interview because their dad knows the CEO, and the other never even gets a callback. That's the kind of imbalance that feeds this humor. Still, the humor acts as a pressure release. People bond over the absurdity, even if they can't change it. And underneath it all is a message. The system feels broken, and people notice. But not everyone relied on sarcasm. Some commenters took a more unconventional but heartfelt approach.
One viewer basically said, forget LinkedIn, go party instead. Their big idea was to ditch polished networking and build relationships in the real world, arguing that authenticity works better than online performance. This take is refreshing because it addresses something many people feel. Digital networking can be exhausting and fake. Instead of forcing small talk in a comment section, they're choosing environments where natural conversation happens. And honestly, it makes sense. People trust the connections formed in real interactions more than algorithmically optimized profiles. The idea of posting authentic content on LinkedIn is admirable, but they also highlight how weird it feels to be honest in a space where most people seem scripted. This person recognizes that emotional dissonance, and they're choosing to remove themselves from it. But this strategy isn't perfect. Not everyone has access to social events or communities where the right connections form organically. Imagine someone trying to switch fields. They might not know anyone at all. In that case, in-person networking could feel overwhelming. Still, the underlying principle is solid. Genuine human connection often leads to opportunities in ways digital platforms can't replicate. And at a time when everything feels automated, authenticity becomes a kind of superpower. Now, if partying isn't your thing, the next person brings us right back to the basics. Old-fashioned referrals.
This viewer hit the brakes on experimentation and said one thing matters most: referrals. They argued that everything else is a gamble, but knowing someone inside a company is still the closest thing to a guaranteed interview. Their comment sinks into a collective truth. Human trust, it still beats automated filters. Referrals bypass the messy algorithms and get your resume in front of actual eyes. It's practical, even if it's discouraging for people without strong networks. And they're right. Industry, company size, and the culture of the team all drastically change your chances. But what stands out is the simplicity. Instead of trying to game the system, understand how people make decisions. The hiring manager doesn't want to sift through 500 easy apply submissions. They want someone the team vouches for. The flaw is that not everyone can access these networks, especially newcomers or people switching careers. For example, a recent immigrant might be as qualified as anyone, but know no one in the field. That's where this advice hits a wall. Still, it's practical and honest. Referrals remain one of the strongest tools job seekers can leverage, even if they take time to build. But not everyone depends on connections. Some people go all in on volume and technology.
Here comes the speedrunner who used AI to blast out 200 applications. Their story? Zero networking, maximum automation, and applying to jobs they weren't even fully qualified for. And it worked. This is the modern hustle at full throttle. They didn't rely on charm or referrals. They relied on ChatGPT and relentless scale. Tailoring resumes to job descriptions, optimizing for ATS, and applying to roles slightly outside their comfort zone gave them a huge range of possibilities. And the fact they practiced interviews daily using AI shows they weren't lazy. They were strategic. This approach doesn't work for everyone, though. Some industries still require personal connections or portfolios that volume can't compensate for. Imagine a designer sending AI-generated applications without a strong personal brand. That wouldn't fly. But for structured, corporate roles, their method is increasingly effective. The real insight here is that technology doesn't replace effort. It amplifies it. They still put in hours of practice, hours of searching, and hundreds of applications. The message is clear. You don't always need to be the perfect fit. You just need to give yourself a chance. Next, we have someone who brings the process back to basics with direct contact and careful targeting. One viewer laid out a methodical approach that felt almost like a mini masterclass. They emphasize reaching out to hiring managers, avoiding easy apply, and using smaller job boards where competition is lighter. This advice blends strategy with practicality. Reaching out after applying can feel intimidating, but hiring managers often appreciate seeing initiative. It shows confidence, not desperation, and avoiding easy apply makes total sense. The convenience invites flooded inboxes, which buries your application instantly. Applying directly on company websites sends a stronger signal of interest and often puts you into an internal pipeline. Their point about niche job boards is also crucial. Some of the best opportunities hide in smaller corners of the internet. But this method isn't foolproof. If every applicant started messaging hiring managers, it would become noise. And for larger companies, direct contact may get routed back to generic channels. Still, it empowers job seekers to take intentional actions rather than passively applying. It encourages visibility, care, and proactive communication. Then we shift gears into a mindset-driven perspective that mixes confidence with practicality.
Another viewer went full motivational speaker, but with a little strategy sprinkled in. Their advice was to stay confident, update your CV regularly for visibility, follow up persistently, and avoid looking desperate. This comment addresses the emotional side of job hunting, and that matters more than people admit. Confidence affects how your messages sound, how your resume reads, and how you perform in interviews. Updating the CV every few days is a clever tactic because some job portals push recently updated profiles to the top. And the idea of politely bothering people is about persistence, not annoyance. Still, this advice has limits. Not everyone has the mental energy to rework their resume constantly, especially when rejections stack up. And masking desperation isn't easy when you're under real financial pressure. But the core message is sound. Be visible, be thoughtful, and don't let the process drain your sense of worth. A strong mindset doesn't guarantee success, but it keeps you steady enough to keep trying. Next, someone took the referral conversation even further and a bit darker.
This commenter argued the job search is practically over before it even begins. Their claim? The only real chances come through referrals, because most posted jobs are already functionally filled. This perspective taps into a grim reality. Many companies post roles they're already leaning toward filling internally. That timing issue makes job boards feel outdated or even misleading. It's not that opportunities don't exist, it's that the window to apply is often much smaller than applicants realize. For those without strong networks, this can feel like a locked door. But the comment points to a deeper truth. Information moves fastest through people, not platforms. And referrals aren't just about favoritism, they're about efficiency. The downside is that this system can become exclusionary. For instance, someone switching fields might never hear about relevant roles if they're not already plugged into the community. Still, the comment encourages building relationships early so you're ready when opportunities appear. It's a harsh truth, but one people benefit from understanding rather than ignoring. Next, we shift back to mindset, but this time with a warning. Don't listen to everyone.
This viewer took aim at online negativity itself. They warned that paying attention to pessimistic commenters will guarantee failure. This take highlights the emotional ecosystem of online spaces. When job seekers gather to vent, the tone often spirals downward fast. While their warning oversimplifies the issue, it's true that surrounding yourself with constant negativity can paralyze your momentum. Still, dismissing all skeptical voices outright misses the fact that some negativity comes from genuine experience. Not every warning is doom. Some help you avoid traps. But the commenter's point is ultimately about protecting your mindset. If you believe everything is hopeless, you stop taking action. If you filter what you consume, you regain control. For example, someone who reads only horror stories about job boards may give up on applying entirely, even when there might be one role that fits them perfectly. The key is balance. Learn from realism, but don't drown in it. Next up, someone expanded on that idea with a longer, more structured approach to staying positive and practical. Another commenter delivered a full 3-step survival guide. They urged people to avoid negative influences, network consistently, and use AI to tailor resumes for ATS systems. This advice strikes a gentle balance between emotional well-being and practical strategy. Cutting out negative voices isn't about pretending the job market is easy. It's about preserving mental clarity. Their networking advice is inclusive, even if referrals haven't worked for them personally. They acknowledge how powerful they can be, and boosting visibility on LinkedIn by commenting or posting is a clever way to stay on people's radar without being pushy. The use of AI for resume tailoring shows an embrace of modern tools without relying on them entirely. But of course, this method requires consistency and time. Someone juggling multiple jobs, care responsibilities, or burnout may struggle to maintain that level of activity. Still, the steps are actionable, digestible, and optimistic without being naive. It's the kind of advice that helps people feel grounded rather than overwhelmed. And finally, one viewer dropped a joke so blunt it almost circled back to profound.
Our final comment is pure sarcasm and pure truth. They joked that the best hack for job searching is to stop being poor. This comment hits like a punchline and a gut punch at the same time. On the surface, it's a joke about class and struggle, but underneath it sits a real pain point. Poverty makes job searching significantly harder. When someone is stressed about money, every application feels heavier, every rejection stings deeper, and every delay has real consequences. People with financial stability have the luxury of patience, risk-taking, and breathing room, advantages many job seekers don't have. The joke captures the absurdity of a system that expects people to function at their best while they're under immense pressure. Imagine trying to perfect your resume while worrying about rent. It's not just a joke, it's a call-out of systemic inequality. But it also brings some relief. Humor gives people a moment to acknowledge a truth that's often too heavy to say plainly. With all these perspectives laid out, from sarcastic to serious, it's time to piece together what they mean for anyone searching in 2025.
Across all these comments, one theme repeats. Job hunting in 2025 isn't about a single magic trick. It's a mosaic of small advantages, connections, technology, persistence, authenticity, and emotional resilience.
Every person finds a different entry point, but the underlying truth is that success comes from mixing human effort with smarter strategies.
So what does this all mean for job seekers today? First, don't rely on just one strategy. Combine what works for you with what the market demands. Build real relationships where you can, and use technology to lighten the load without losing your voice. Stay visible, but stay human. Apply widely, but prepare deeply. And most importantly, protect your mindset. The job market may be unpredictable, but your effort, focus, and adaptability are tools no algorithm can take away. Keep showing up. Keep experimenting, and remember, you only need one yes. As we step back from the noise and let these ideas settle, take a moment to breathe. The journey is long, but you're not walking it alone.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're navigating the job market right now, know that your frustration is real, but so is your potential. Keep going, stay curious, and trust that the right opportunity is on its way. Until next time, take care, and take your next step with confidence.